Okay, Year 7, welcome to your video tutorial. Now, last lesson we looked at multiplying decimals by numbers to the power of 10. So things like 10 or 100 or 1,000 or even 10,000. But today we're going to look at multiplying by a decimal. Okay, let's have a look and see how it's different. Now, what is it? Well, there's countless of real-world applications that involve multiplication of decimals. For example, if you're trying to find the area of an apartment or if you're trying to calculate wages. Okay, so for example, I said when I was in Berlin, my apartment was roughly 18.4 by 8.2 meters wide. Now, it's going to be different from what we did yesterday because you'll notice there's some decimals in there and I'm not multiplying by a nice even number. Or if you wanted to work out how much Camille would earn working at the Boulangerie if she works 5.5 hours at $12.54. They're not to the power of 10. So today we're going to work out how it is we exactly work those out. Okay, we're multiplying with decimals. We start by ignoring any decimal points. Oh, okay, stick with me, okay? Because I know that seems confusing if I just say, ignore the decimal points. But we perform the calculation as we would normally and just ignore the decimal points. And then we put the decimal point in at the end. But how do we know where to put the decimal point in the answer? Okay, if I've just told you to ignore it and put it in the end, how do I know where to put it? Okay, it's actually quite simple. The number of decimal points in the question tells us how many there should be in the answer, and it indicates for us where we should be putting the decimal point. Let me show you. Okay, if we have 5.3 and we're multiplying it by, say, 1.2, for the time being, I'm going to ignore the decimal points, okay, and I'm going to say 534 multiplied by 12, okay, and I'm going to perform my calculation ignoring the decimal points. So 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, put a 0. 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 5 is 5. So that gives me a grand total answer of 8 plus 0 is 8, 6 plus 4 is 10, 0 carry the 1, 1 plus 0 plus 3, 4. Okay, 1 plus 5 is 6. So that gives me a grand total of 6,408. Now I know 5.34 times 1.2 isn't 6,000, okay? But I do know that I've just told you before that the number of decimal places in the question tells you where to put it in the answer. Okay, all right. This second decimal in my question has one decimal place. There's only one number after the decimal point. The first decimal in my question has 2 decimal spots. It has a 3 and a 4 after the decimal point. So there's 1 in there and 2 in there, which makes 3 altogether. What I need to do in my answer is starting on the far right, I then count those decimal places. I go, okay, if there's 3 in my question, that must mean I need to go 1, 2, 3 and put my decimal in there. So the answer, my decimal point, the answer for 5.34 times 1.2 is 6.408. 3 decimal places in the question, I need to move 3 decimal places, and that's my answer. So, let's have a look at these ones here. 12.31 multiplied by 7. So I perform my calculation as normal, ignoring the decimal point. Multiplied by 7. Okay, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, put the 1, carry the 2, 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16 for the extra 2 that I've carried, carry the 1, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So my answer I've come out with is 8,617. I know that's not the answer, I know I need to put my decimal point in. I have 2 decimal points in my question, and 7 was a whole number, so there was no, I have 2 decimal places in my question, which must mean I need to put 2 decimal places in my answer. Okay, so I need to go 1, 2, from the right. Always remember starting from the right. So my answer becomes 86.17. 86.17. Okay, let's have a look at this next example. Let's move that little working up a bit. Okay, 3.63. Ooh, I remember I'm ignoring my decimal places. Multiplied by, actually I might just give myself a little bit more room there. Okay, 363 multiplied by 69. Okay, so 9 threes are, we'll start here, 9 times 3 is 27, carry the 2, 9 times 6 nines are 54, plus 2 is 56, carry that. 9 threes are 27 again. 27 plus 5 becomes 32. Okay, now I add a 0. Okay. Ooh, might just rub these out too while I'm at it. Okay. This time 6 threes are 18. Carry the 1. 6 sixes are 36. Plus 1 becomes 37. Carry the 3. 6 threes are 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so 3,267 plus 21,780. Okay, now I'm going to be really sorry. I'm just going to move this up just a fraction again because I'm running out of space. Here we go. Okay, so the grand total answer becomes 7. 6 plus 8 becomes 14. Carry the 1. 2 plus 7 becomes 9. 10. Carry the 1. 3, 4, 5. And then 2. So I get an answer of 25047. Now I know that 3.63 times 6.9 is not 25,000, because that's a bit silly now, isn't it? But I know that the number of decimal places in my question tells me the number of decimal places that should be in my answer. So there was 1 here, then there was 1, 2, so 3 altogether. So I start on my right and I go 1, 2, 3. I put my decimal point in there. So my answer for this question becomes 25.047. 25.047. And that's it, guys. That's multiplying with decimals.